So, You're a Mouse. September 25, 2019 by Anna von Reitz. The last few days we've been looking at the nature of Satan's kingdom, otherwise known as the world, and much to some people's amazement, we've shown that the world is built of nothing more than words and ideas. We have also looked at how words are misused to manipulate our thinking processes and assumptions to promote wrong emotions and wrong actions. This can be done using labels like Luddite and sovereign citizen and Nigger. It can be done by changing the common meaning of words to mean something else entirely, such as changing the meaning of person to mean corporation, for federal purposes. It can be done by leaving meanings ambiguous in order to promote fraud, such as the question, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" which then leaves the answer open to interpretation. It can be done by attaching prior experience and assumptions to new meanings, too. Prior to 1933, when someone offered you a home loan, it meant they were offering to grubstake you and loan you money to build a place of your own. After 1933, for the federales among us, it meant, "Hey, buddy, loan us your home as an asset and let us tax you to death, too." And then, they and the banks just conveniently forgot to explain the change in the verbiage to you, and let you continue to assume that a home loan still meant that they were loaning you money to buy a home, instead of you loaning your home to them so that they could borrow against it. We also discovered how similar lies and deceits can be used to steal even more precious things, like your identity and everything you own, using the dead baby scam as a means to falsify records held in your name. We have also discovered how our public law and public peacekeeping offices have been undermined and unlawfully converted into private corporate law enforcement positions, so that our domestic police forces have been misdirected to act as corporate mercenaries for hire, tasked to protect the service corporations and their bottom lines, instead of being assigned the duty we all intended for them, which is to protect our private property and persons. This then was all designed to protect the corporate criminals and their operations on our shores, and to unlawfully convert the apparatus of our government to serve them, instead of us. Finally, we looked at how these monsters use operant conditioning to get us to believe in obvious falsehoods, get us to worship idols, and hand them the keys to our property, our minds, and our lives, including our spiritual lives. It's basically the same mechanisms discovered by Pavlov and B.F. Skinner, just applied for a much longer time and on a much greater scale than anyone imagined. We have seen how we have been misled to ascribe value to money, which is an arbitrary token in an equally arbitrary reward system, how the vacuous concept of time has been used to capture our energy, and even how something as simple as communion with Jesus has been converted into a saleable commodity and subjected to commodity rigging. Obviously, these activities and evils have been going on for a very long time and have been practiced at a high level by certain elements, organizations and institutions, that have used these means to obtain coercive control and then abused their positions of trust to inflict misery and theft on others. The chief offenders? The Roman Catholic Church, which was itself targeted by the Roman Empire for use as a storefront hiding their continued criminal enterprises and con games. The bar associations and their members, who have worked for the Roman Empire since the 2nd century BC. The British Crown Corporation and its secret partners, the American heirs of the Dutch East India Company. The UN Corporation, which was formed in 1943 by Nazi sympathizers in France and Switzerland and Luxembourg, a full 2 years before the United Nations organization was even chartered. The so-called central banks and securities brokerages. The problem for them and for the Pope, is that all of these organizations except the Holy See, are incorporated, and they have all acted as crime syndicates, so under the ecclesiastical law of the air, he is obligated to nullify their charters. He also owes us the responsibility, as I have pointed out numerous times, to deny the perpetrators of these crimes access to new charters designed to commit the same crimes. He can forgive them all he likes, but he owes us good faith service to prevent crime. This is, in a way, the same situation posed by all the pedophiles and sodomites that the Roman Catholic Church has protected. The popes and the cardinals can forgive them, for their own part, all they like, but at the end of the day, they also owe a duty to the rest of us to report and to prevent crime. The same principles apply to the revolving door of these corporate crimes against humanity. It isn't enough for the Pope to bow to the facts and shut down and liquidate the United States, Inc. if he then allows the same group of perpetrators to come in the outdoor and form a new corporation operating as U.S. Inc. or, more to the point, UN Inc. and carry on the same atrocities. It's time to stop being mice and, instead, act as men and women. Use the most powerful weapons the true God gave you, the truth in your minds.